Oh well, and for this video I thought it would be interesting to maybe apply these kind of provincial people that I've been referencing on this channel, or the kind of more regional, like I guess American strategy maybe going forward for politics. And this is not some call for like a localism, or like, oh, get involved in your local democratic municipalities and stuff like that. I'm talking about, the self-awareness necessary to realize, these urban sprawl areas are causing a lot of issues, and there's really no way around it. Their issues do not necessarily complement ours on the outside, kind of looking in. And with technology and everything, we're able to see kind of what is really going on in these urban settings as they continue to decay. Everyone kind of uses that Detroit metaphor for all of the big cities now, and obviously if you apply something like this sort of German mystic deterministic approach to things like Spengler does, and civilization and the provincial, I thought it would be interesting to, as much as I admire and personally enjoy the kind of writing that Spengler does, it's not, you don't get that, not everyone gets that same kind of feeling. And so what if we tried to apply this on a different lens, in this case with Arnold Toynbee and his kind of causal historical approach to things. And I think there's a lot of useful things that Toynbee offers that Spengler didn't have to him. I'm not saying that all of it is perfect for sure. I think Toynbee actually he has like 21 or some civilizations that he lists as compared to like Spengler's 9. And I think a lot of the times he, through his like empirical approach, maybe misses his own like kind of rules he set out for some of these categories that he's laid out for us. Like I think he tries to split up too many of these civilizations, but that's not really the point of this video, right? So yeah, I wanted to kind of put this province people through the lens of causality, so Toynbee, the way he kind of sees these genesis of civilizations coming about is, the stimulus of environments. When he talks about like Western civilization, it's just these constant stimulus of the Islamic world constantly trying to come in and move in towards Europe. And you can't have too much of a stimulus to the point where the civilization actually can't sustain itself, or be birthed, if you will, and get through the genesis phase. So it has to be kind of like in this kind of moderation of just enough of a kind of challenge, or a kind of pressure, if you will, to pull a people forward to create this kind of civilization and culture. But more than that, I thought today we could apply to our politics some of the more interesting categories he offers, with these kind of like prototypes, if you will, of people within these kind of civilizations. And there is a I'm forgetting his name. It's Clash of Civilizations with I forgot the author's name. There's a follow-up to this where he's kind of looking at it from these people, or these ethnic civilizations within this like kind of universal state. As Toynbee, I guess that's a little segue to the concept of the universal state. And I think we're definitely immersed in that, as we look around in the Western world or America, by and large, is definitely the power be in the democratic system. So we definitely have the kind of universal state, the sort of dominant minority. It's kind of interesting because I think if you kind of, certainly as I was kind of sitting there and thinking about, like, what is the dominant minority, especially in this kind of like liberal system that purposely wants to obfuscate like who the dominant minority actually is, and that in and of itself is kind of tricky. But I think that might actually be one of the problems with discourse and current politics in and of itself. I remember when formalism was really popular with Moldbug and all those kind of thinkers, including myself, even though I wasn't really like actually like putting myself out there, but I was just always lurking. But and so like I don't really think perhaps it I don't really want to dwell too much on like what the actual dominant minority is, as opposed to the obvious lack of faith in that dominant minority, that creative minority that Toynbee presents us with. And one of the signs of the kind of decay is when that trust goes out the window, that leadership isn't looked upon, and we definitely see that all around us all the time. I don't think at any point in my millennial existence, I've never really seen. I know that like people have the MAGA hats on, and people put bumper stickers on, and a lot of it is kind of cringy, but I don't really think that people actually love these guys. I mean, there is always this kind of super fans, but I don't really think any of the American public really likes any of their leadership figures in general, and that's why we're always constantly looking to past great men in history and quoting them and citing them all the time, because we don't really like to look around at our own contemporaries very much. But so yeah, I thought that when Toynbee talks about the universal state, and in particular the universal proletariat prospect, that obviously hasn't really happened yet. There's so many different proletariat forms within this universal state now. This kind of became this global finance empire. You have all of these different groups within coming together under this, 140 nation kind of democratic system now. And so there's kind of just this microcosm, if you will, of all these different proletariats. The black community in America, that's a people who, as I went over in the Quantities of Color video, that's actually doing like surprisingly pretty well, I guess, with the issues going on lately with immigration and whatnot. Seeing this dominant minority, look at the way they look at us through demographics and just state funding. I can get $4,000 for this body temperature of 97.8 sitting in this desk, and it's just all about how much I can get from the state based off of the quantities of this diversity in this classroom. It doesn't really matter what the conditions or the quality of this minoritarian experience in America that they're always peddling in this corporate atmosphere. But I kind of I'm going on here, but definitely when you kind of look at Toynbee and when you look around today, what you have to realize is it's not The world really isn't this masculine place as it used to be. So, anytime as you're looking at these like historical figures, if you will, you kind of always think of these great struggles. And I mean, obviously in history, I went over that in a recent video. I had a friend say he really liked how I put it, that if you looked in your family's like canon or history, when's the last time someone had to kill somebody to preserve themselves, to preserve your family, or the state or whatever he was serving under. Really puts things into perspective. It wasn't really that long ago. Nonetheless, though, this approach to politics is a lot less masculine than it used to be, obviously, as we continue to expand rights outside of just this, straight man dichotomy that everyone's always scapegoating. But, so yeah, now you have kind of more of this information, these kind of microaggressions, if you will, and, obviously this kind of war for your psyche online. When you look at things like Operation Mockingbird or whatever, that was like in the 60s, and that was just on radio and primitive television. Think of all of the crazy antics we hear all the time about the state and disinformation, and just the over-information even on just the way the internet operates in our day-to-day lives in general. And so I think within this kind of inner proletariat, if you will, the rise of the distrust, I think, within the provincial of people, in this more rural setting, looking at these urban settings, seeing these problems emerge, such as, like the rural, you're seeing right now with this gun control debate. The rural doesn't, really get this gun issue because, for the most part, there is no gun issue outside of the urban setting, and so the idea that like firearms are their firearms are the cause here just doesn't work for this kind of province people. And obviously that's just a small, petty, minute point. Obviously when we're looking at it through a Spangler context, there's way more than just like gun control issues going on between the civilization and the kind of cultural people on the outside, the kind of less connected, less money orientated, more blood and family traditions that helped build the society around us to begin with. Was just disrespected and mocked and considered the flyover, if you will. And so, obviously, as this faith in this dominant minority washes away, DC is considered a foreign land now. As, you almost built a wall around DC after the insurrection with, what is it? There was like, I didn't see the exact numbers, and I don't know if they were for sure, but you're talking about thousands of feet on the ground in D.C. When the inauguration process happened. That's a lot. That's a lot of manpower to send to your nation's capital in response to this democratic leader supposedly getting put in. And I think when it comes to what Toynbee's talking about with these like pressures, if you will, text censorship comes to mind right off the bat, right? The kind of alienation of even declaring yourself as someone even moderately liberal. I see it from time to time where someone's like, yeah, I'm kind of left-leaning, but, this is a bit much, right? And, they're kind of persecuted in this social current system. Everyone's getting kicked off of these platforms, and, these platforms are actually offering state services at the same time. such as emergency alerts and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting to think that, people on the right in their politics aren't getting access to potential alert systems. At least around here, they do. I don't know if that's true for other places. And so yeah, I think the provincial, we're kind of seeing this very real, very concrete, lack of faith in the democratic system and liberalism at large. So, what do you make of that with the kind of, populistic, I don't like to think of it just, it's a shame that it is just this kind of, populism, nativism is kind of just reduced to this right-wing sphere when, you see, like, you rub up Bernie Sanders and Trump's, like, platforms against each other, right? And, Bernie has this really roundabout way of actually kind of getting towards, these kind of populistic approaches to things. And so it's not necessarily just this left-right kind of dichotomy, if you will, I don't think. It's just kind of obscured through, pretty much through, like, who is the shittier version of the dominant minority right now, and, who lacks the creativity, and these kind of ideological scarecrows, another popular kind of metaphor I've used on this channel. Yeah, I thought I'd, actually, I did want to add this on. This is kind of, I was thinking about this a little bit, and, I'm not totally sure if, this will pan out or whatever, but I like to always try to think of these hypotheticals. And, one of the things Toynbee talks about, actually, is this kind of barbarian outsider. And, usually the barbarian outsider takes the form of, throughout history, it's just kind of that foreign people on the outside, looking in, trying to, assert itself through not just the physical barriers of that people, but, the literal, like, immune system of it as well. And, that's usually they're playing the waiting game. And, obviously you can apply whatever, if you want to put the Chinese there, or if you want to put, immigration there, if you will. I'm not going to say that that's, wrong, but I do think it's kind of interesting. What about these kind of, online spheres, these rises of that I talked about in, A Matter of Life and Death on the Internet, these online, almost cult, creators that could assume this role of this outside, almost as an extension through the provincial people. And, this kind of, I think there's a referendum going on with, kind of the physical urbanism. The outlet mall is dying. It's eroding away. It's being demolished down. There's kind of this agrarian will, too, deep, I think, within these kind of, like, regional structure in the United States. Most of our, like, foliage that's growing is only within the last, like, 100 to 150 years because, we deforested most of the the states, and then we realized we don't really like that very much. We kind of like nature. And so what if these kind of internet groups, who, by the way, not that long ago, seemed to, not just in 2016, but, with Wall Street, they definitely messed with the global finance, and they didn't appreciate it very much. This kind of internet and anonymity and coordination, these kind of social media spheres that are, dropping red pills left and right, and memetics, cutting away at, some of these narratives. I think it's an interesting prospect to consider. Obviously, um, as we're not as physical, if you will, with our politics, quite literally, and with testosterone levels continuing to drop. We don't have these kind of like physical warrior approaches as much these days. And then obviously I think there's the mutual destruction of it, right? Everyone's kind of armed to the teeth now, so it's just that mutual destruction of if you're going to be violent, then you better be violent with an act to actually win, and not just assert dominance and shake hands afterwards, which is sad. I mean, I'm not saying I support it, but so I think I think there is a potential there to see the kind of internet anonymity groups, these internet cult-like figures potentially forming a kind of barbarian outsider group that actually could be stemmed from this kind of provincial politics I'm talking about. But yeah, I thought that was I thought it'd be kind of interesting to apply an empiricist to the kind of provincial politics I've been trying to lay out on this channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was thorough enough for you guys. I really enjoy how many the reach I've been getting on BitChute, despite I've never really been that kind of guy to go around and beg people to share my content, because I've always been such a lurker myself, and I appreciate from afar kind of guy. I don't really leave comments and go out of my way to try to get the content creator's attention, or not saying that that's a bad thing. I definitely don't want that kind of perception to happen. I want to have an interaction with my audience more, actually. As I see, I'm getting, some kind of views, but, if you are out there, I do appreciate the subscribers and people who have been running into my stuff on BitChute. That really means a lot to me. I'm really glad that I actually started to do these kind of video essays, as opposed to just, keeping all these essays to myself, kind of, or just constricted among, a really niche group of close friends. It's nice to actually create and put something out there for people to digest and see what could happen with that. But yeah, this is going on way too long now. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you for the next one.